readers. Miss Cross is here to continue reading another chapter from our new book that we're just starting called Save Me a Seat. And we're just getting to know our characters, Ravi and Joe and Dylan. And we've learned that Joe is not so comfortable at school. He loves lunch. He loves knowing the rotation of food. He seems to be very good with patterns. He's kind of a bigger kid, maybe a little awkward. He tends to get picked on. And he has seen enough of Joe to think that maybe the kind of bully Dylan might start picking on Ravi instead of Joe. So he's feeling a little hopeful about that, whereas Ravi is feeling hopeful that Dylan is going to be a good friend to him. So let's read chapter 4 and see what happens next. It's Monday, so the cafeteria is... Oh, I'm sorry, this chapter is about Joe. It's Monday, so the cafeteria is serving chicken fingers with canned peas and apple slices. I had a big breakfast, and it's only 11:30, but I'm so hungry I could eat a horse. For real. I go through the line as fast as I can. Ethan and Evan and I used to eat at the round table near the milk machine, but things are different now. I have to lie low. After I pay for my food, I carry my tray over to the other side of the cafeteria, keeping my head down the whole time. So far, so good. There's a long table against the back wall. Nobody ever sits there because it's near the trash cans. 5th grade has the first lunch period, though, so I figure the smell won't be too bad yet. I sit down, put in my earplugs, and inhale everything on my plate in about 3 seconds. He says he inhales everything. Now, normally we think of inhale as taking a deep breath in, but I'm thinking he inhaled his food means he gobbled it up. I'm still hungry, but I don't want to take any chances by going back for more. As I'm sucking down the last of my chocolate milk, I notice someone sitting all the way down at the other end of the table. It's that shrimpy new kid from class, the one with the big glasses and the long name who sits in front of me. He's got this weird-looking lunchbox open in front of him, and he's eating something that looks like scrambled eggs. Who do we think he could be looking at and talking about? Robert Princenthal walks by and accidentally bumps my shoulder. At least I think it's an accident. Robert is another Dylan Samreen wannabe. The difference between him and Tom Deakins is that Robert isn't mean when he's on his own. Sorry about that, putty tat, he says, and keeps going. My name is Joe Sylvester, but thanks to Dylan Samreen, I'm known at school as Putty Tat. It's on account of that thing Tweety Bird always says to Sylvester the cat in the old Looney Tunes cartoons. You know, I taught a Putty Tat. Now, you guys might not have ever seen these Looney Tune cartoons, but that's how Tweety Bird talks, so he's calling Sylvester a pussycat. He says, I thought I saw a pussycat. But he has a little bit of a funny voice, so he says, I taught, putty tat. I wish people would call me Joe, but when Dylan Samreen decides he's going to call you something, whether you like it or not, that's what everyone else is going to call you too. So at school, I am Putty Tat, Putty or Pud for short. Giving a person a nickname is a way of saying you like them, my mother said when she found out about it. Trust me, I told her, Dylan Samreen doesn't like me. What's not to like, she'd ask, kissing the top of my head. She always does stuff like that, which is why we had to have the big talk this morning. Pretend you don't even know me, I told her, and promise you won't do any of your corny mom stuff. So it sounds like Joe's mom is very loving to him, and he's kind of at that awkward phase where hopefully you guys aren't there yet, where you don't want to really be too lovey-dovey with your parents. Don't forget, your parents always need hugs and kisses, boys and girls. I promise, she said, then made an X over her heart with her finger. We'll see, I thought. The new kid is busy eating his lunch, and I'm done with mine, so I just sit there for a while, watching Dylan Samreen. I do that a lot, not because I want to, but because I have to. One time in 2nd grade, when I put my jacket down on the bench out on the playground, Dylan filled the pockets with dirt. Another time, he slipped one of those little packets of ketchup in my homework folder and pounded on it with his fist to make it pop. He's always grabbing the back of my shirt or trying to punch or trip me when nobody's looking. His favorite thing of all is to sneak up behind me and make a loud noise because he knows how much that freaks me out. Now, boys and girls, I'm noticing how calmly Joe is mentioning all these things that Dylan does to him, but I feel a real sadness in my heart for a character like this. And I know there are students that experience things like this where people are just really being mean to them. So it makes me feel sad for Joe. It wasn't until last year that I realized Dylan was a klepto. Have you ever heard that word klepto? It's short for a word called kleptomaniac, and it's a person who can't help stealing things from other people. So he says Dylan is a klepto. His parents are loaded, so he doesn't need the stuff he steals. And by loaded, I'm inferring that he means his parents have a lot of money. He doesn't need the stuff he steals, he just does it for fun. He'll take anything he can get his hands on. A pencil sharpener, a glove, a retainer case, it doesn't matter. Whatever it is, he shoves it down the front of his pants for safekeeping. Since I never take my eyes off him, I've seen him do this a million times. But I don't ever tell on him, because what good would it do? He'd just fast talk his way out of it and find a way to pay me back double. After my mom found the dirt in my pockets, she suspected something might be going on. Is that Sam Reen boy bothering you? She asked. No, Mom, I lied. We can talk to Miss Frost about it, she suggested. No, I shouted, everything's fine. I worry about you, Joey. You never have anyone over to the house. I have lots of friends at school, I told her. Like who? Ethan and Evan. The Burdock twins, she said. Those boys are so wild. She didn't know the half of it. Ethan once stole his father's car keys and drove around the neighborhood in his pajamas, and even though Evan never got caught, I knew for a fact that he was the bathroom bandit of Einstein, notorious for drawing dirty pictures on the bathroom walls and throwing wet toilet paper balls on the ceiling. If I was his mom, I wouldn't want him hanging out with those boys either. Dylan and his buddies are busy yucking it up, so I figure it's a good time to go empty my tray. I guess the new kid must have left when I wasn't looking, because he and his funny-looking lunchbox are gone now. I pick up my tray and make it as far as the trash cans before my luck runs out. Hey, Pud! Dylan comes over to me and puts his arm around my shoulders. How's it going? My heart starts pounding, and I feel myself go wet under the arms. Dylan Sam Reen is like one of those crocodiles you see on the Discovery Channel, lurking underwater with just his eyes showing, waiting to grab anything dumb enough to come within his reach. I'm good, I say, trying to duck out from under his arm. He tightens his grip on my left shoulder and with his other hand pulls the earplug out of my right ear, drops it on the floor, and crushes it with a shoe like a bug. This guy is really not cool. In 2, 3, 1, out, 2, 3. So Joe has lost his earplug. He's in the cafeteria. He's very sensitive to loud noises, and so he's trying to do some calming breathing that he has been taught. Listen, Pud, before you go, can I ask you something? He says. I guess so. I look down at my shoes. It feels weird having only one earplug in. Lopsided. Is it my imagination, or does that new lunch monitor look familiar? Dylan puts his mouth so close to my ear that it makes me squirm. I don't say anything, just keep my eyes glued to my shoes and breathe. In 2, 3, out 2, 3. I notice one of my shoelaces has become untied. Take a look, Puddy, says Dylan, jerking his head back to shake the hair out of his eyes. Tell me if you recognize her, too. I don't move. Oh, was that question too hard for you, Pud? You need me to talk a little slower? Take a look. I don't want to look, but what choice do I have? I lift my head. My mom is standing over near the milk machine. She's wearing a red and white striped apron, and she has a whistle around her neck. When she sees me looking at her, she smiles and blows me a kiss. I honestly think I might be having a heart attack. This is exactly what I was afraid would happen. It's the whole reason we'd had the big talk. My face feels like it's on fire. Come on, Pud, says Dylan. You don't want to hurt her feelings, do you? Blow her a kiss back. What's going on, Dill? Asked Tom Dinkins. He and Robert and this weird kid, Jax, have come over to empty their trays. Pud is about to blow a kiss to his mommy, the lunch monitor, and then she's going to change his poopy diaper. Tom laughs. What the heck, Jax says. No kidding, Puddy. Is that really your mom, says Robert. The bell rings, making me jump. Suddenly, everybody starts rushing around, cleaning up, and getting ready to go back to class. Dylan grins and winks at me, then lets go of my shoulder and walks away. He's done with me for now, but I'm not stupid enough to think it's over. My knees are shaking, but I manage to dump my tray and get out of there as fast as I can. The rest of the afternoon is a total waste of time. Mrs. Beam calls on me twice, even though my hand isn't up. It's only the first day of school, and 5th grade already sucks. Boys and girls, I don't like using that word when I read or talk, but sometimes authors use words that we might not agree with, and we just have to read them and move on. But basically, he's saying that so far 5th grade is not fun for him, and I feel really sorry for him. It hurts my heart what he's had to go through with this boy Dylan. And sometimes when we read things like this, it might make us feel a little uncomfortable, but I would suggest we use that as a lesson in the way we treat people and the way we never want to treat people. Okay, boys and girls, we will read more tomorrow. Have a great day.